Hey there, and welcome. We are going to be talking today about 5 myths that people commonly believe about clean eating. And I think it's really important to clear up these myths because I know that they make a lot of people hesitant or nervous or scared to give clean eating a try. And just from my experience working with hundreds of women, clean eating is one of the most powerful ways not only to lose weight, but to improve your relationship with food. It helps you see food in a different way where you don't feel like you're fighting with it or struggling with it all the time like you often do when you're on a diet. And so I don't want you to be hesitant or not want to give clean eating a try just because you're believing one of these myths. So that's why I kind of want to clear up these myths with you today. So before I get started though, I'm really curious to know, when you hear the term clean eating, what does that make you think of? Like, what are the first thoughts that come to your mind? Does it feel like something that would be easy to do? Does it feel challenging or scary? What about it seems appealing to you or would make you hesitant? Just tell me any first thoughts or impressions about clean eating that come to your mind and put them in the comments. Whether you're watching live or on the replay, I will definitely come back and check your answers because I really am curious about what you're believing about clean eating. And that way, if there are more myths, I can bust them. Or if there are things that are true, I can just be honest with you about that as well. So before we get started, if we haven't met yet, I'm Christina Johnson. I'm a transformational nutrition coach, and my specialty is helping women who have gone on all the diets to create a clean and mindful eating lifestyle so that you can lose weight for good, feel comfortable in your body and in your clothes, and have a better relationship with food. And I accomplish that by helping people create not only a clean eating lifestyle, but a mindful eating lifestyle. But today we are focusing on the clean eating part of things. So I will say this whole topic came up because earlier this week, I had been emailing with one of the members of the Emerge Weight Loss Method, and she's almost to the end of the program, and she was giving me a little bit of feedback, and she said that it was such a good thing before she joined the program that she did not know that it was a clean eating plan. And she was just at the time really desperate or wanting to find a way to lose weight. She just needed a good plan to follow. So she just kind of jumped in, enrolled in the Emerge Weight Loss Method, but didn't quite understand what was involved, that it was clean eating. And she said it was so good that she didn't know that because she would have never given it a try. And so that just got me thinking, and I asked her, I'm like, okay, well, what is it about that term clean eating that made you so hesitant to want to even try it? And she said that she was scared because before doing Emerge, she heard clean eating and she felt like she's gonna have to give up all the sugar, the dairy, the flour, all the good stuff is what she said. And that was scary. And I totally get that. When you think about having to give up all of those foods, potentially forever, I mean, who really wants to sign up for that? And so that's why kind of what led me to want to clear up some of these myths, because what she did say is that, I mean, it's so worth it. She's so glad that she did try clean eating because, I mean, she's lost over 25 pounds. She also is feeling better. Her mind is clearer. Her sleep is better. Her, I think digestion, her joints don't hurt as much. There's so many things that have improved. And now, I think about 10, 11 weeks in, she's feeling pretty confident that this way of eating is doable, even after the program is over. And that is my goal. When I want to help you create a clean eating lifestyle that doesn't feel like you're on a diet for a few weeks or a few months, but that really helps you feel like, okay, I can eat this way. This is just my new way of eating, and it doesn't feel overly hard or too restrictive. It's just what you do. So let's jump in, and remember in the comments, please tell me, like, when you hear those terms, clean eating, what does that make you think of? And as I go through, let me know if you can relate to any of these beliefs, false beliefs, I should say. Okay, so the first one is that clean eating is this really strict one-size-fits-all plan or diet that means you will never eat sugar or dairy or gluten or flour or, the list could go on and on. You won't eat those things ever again. And so here's the truth. Clean eating, the basic premise of clean eating is that you are going to be adding in or eating more real whole foods. You want to eat as many of those things as possible. And when I talk about real food or whole foods, I'm referring to things that you could find outside in nature. So you're eating good quality protein, so meat, fish, eggs. You're eating vegetables, leafy greens, plants. You're eating fruit, nuts, seeds, really good healthy fats and good quality oils, and some natural sweeteners. And so the goal here is to eat more of those real foods and to eat less processed food. And clean eating is not about eating 100% perfectly all the time. And maybe for some people it is. And honestly, clean eating is a pretty general term. You talk to 10 different people, they might all have different definitions of clean eating. And so what I see as clean eating is just this general principle that we are eating more real whole foods and we are eating less processed food, less sugar, and less flour. And as we do that, it's not about being perfect, but it's about learning which foods work best for your body. So for example, for me personally, I never eat gluten and I am dairy-free 95% of the time. I will have some cheese occasionally. But I do that because I know that gluten and dairy are just not good for my body. They cause inflammation and they can lead to other health symptoms like congestion or joint pain or things like that. And so clean eating is about figuring out which foods work for your body. We don't want to be more restrictive than we need to, but we also want to know how different foods affect you. And so that is just such a big premise of clean eating, is just learning to view food differently. And I just want to reiterate, it is not a one-size-fits-all program. So clean eating to me is, yes, here's a whole bunch of foods that you could eat, and what you might eat, what might work for you, could be different than what works for me and what works for other members of your family. And so it's about figuring out what is the way of eating that will help your body thrive and feel good and get to that ideal weight. Okay, myth number 2. This is a big one. I could never stay away from sugar. Tell me in the comments or hit the like button if you feel that way, if you feel like I could never give up sugar. And I can tell you, I've worked with so many people who have believed that, who have tried before to give up sugar. So maybe they have tried to cut out all sugar and they can stay away from it for a couple days or a week or a month. But it feels really hard because they're still having cravings. Their willpower just feels weak and they're just always thinking about it. And so the truth is that when you approach taking out sugar, avoiding sugar in the right way, it isn't as hard as it might seem to be. So what I have found is that when you are removing sugar, but also adding in all the nutrients that your body needs that cause you to crave sugar, then those cravings will go down. And so it's not about having a lot of willpower, but it's about making sure your body has water and protein and the vitamins and minerals that your body needs so that you're not craving sugar all the time. And I can think of so many clients. I have one woman now who has completely stayed away from sugar for, I think it's been over a month. And she's somebody that has struggled with sugar for most of her life. And so it truly isn't as hard to stay away from it when you do it the right way. And that is by giving your body all the nutrients it needs so it doesn't need to crave sugar. Okay, myth number 3. This is another big one. That is, I am going to have to spend hours cooking in the kitchen if I'm going to eat clean. So let me know, type 3, if you've ever believed this third myth, that I'm going to have to spend hours in the kitchen cooking. And again, you know, the truth is that it can take a little bit longer in the kitchen when you're first starting to eat clean, because there is more, you know, maybe chopping and things like that you need to do. But there are so many ways to work around this. There are so many, you know, quick meals and recipe options that won't take you that long. But the key is, you know, and I can remember for myself, when I first started eating clean, I was trying all these new recipes and I didn't know much about cooking at all when I started eating clean. And so it just took me longer. But now I know which recipes are going to be quick. I know how to meal plan so that I'm not cooking every single day. I have learned all these tips and tricks to save a lot of time in the kitchen. And to be honest, I probably am not spending more time now than I was pre-clean eating. So what my advice here is that when you switch to clean eating, having somebody who's already been clean eating for a while to give you shortcuts and tips and tricks is super helpful, because it is totally possible to eat clean and not feel like you're cooking all the time. But it takes time to figure that out, or you can shorten the learning curve by having somebody like just tell you what to do. The other thing here is that it is so fun to me because I have so many women that come into my program or who I start working with, and they tell me, I'm not a good cook, I don't enjoy cooking, I don't want to spend time in the kitchen cooking. And after they start eating clean, they start looking at food differently and the meals differently, and they actually find, okay, I am a pretty good cook. I don't mind cooking a healthy meal a few days a week. And so it becomes something that they actually enjoy. And I know you may be in a place right now where that feels totally far-fetched and not possible for you, but I promise you that there have been people, many people, who have felt that same way and now are in a place where they really don't mind or they even enjoy cooking. Okay, myth number 4 is I will have to avoid all processed food and make everything from scratch. And okay, to be fair, when I started clean eating about 11, 12 years ago, I was making everything from scratch. So I was making my own mayonnaise. I remember buying a dehydrator and making my own yogurt, or like salad dressings I always made from scratch. So I was making all of these things. I made ketchup from scratch. And part of it I did because it was kind of fun. I was really enjoying learning about food and the benefits of food on my health. And so part of it was just I was interested. But another big thing was, 10, 12 years ago, there were not a lot of healthy processed food options in the grocery store. But fast forward to now, and there are so many good brands that are making healthy, quality processed foods. So, for example, like now I don't make mayonnaise anymore. There's a brand of mayonnaise that I really like, and it's healthy, clean ingredients and salad dressings and barbecue sauces. And so eating clean does not mean giving up all processed food. But what you need to do is learn how to read ingredient labels and figure out which brands you can trust so that you can choose processed foods wisely. And so that's what I do. When I'm working with clients, we work on eating those real whole foods, 80-ish% of the time, and then supplementing with some processed foods here and there, but really learning how to choose those processed foods wisely. All right, and the last myth, tell me if you've ever believed this one before, is that clean eating is a diet or weight loss program. And I wanted to clear this up because while clean eating really can help you lose weight, it's so much more than that. So clean eating is about learning a different way to look at food. So I think so often when we have a past of dieting, we see food as this thing to manipulate and control and count calories so that we can lose weight. And so it becomes this almost like our enemy. And instead, if you think about what food is what we are supposed to consume to fuel our body, to give us energy, to give us the nutrients we need to be healthy. And so when we look at a meal in front of us, we want to start viewing that meal as nourishment for our body. And we want to choose foods that will nourish and fuel our body well. And so that is what clean eating is about. It's about just having a different view on food and using it to fuel our body. And then when we do that, we are eating in a way that balances our blood sugar, that's lowering inflammation, that's giving ourselves the nutrients we need to be healthy. And when we're supporting our overall health in that way, then the weight just naturally begins to fall off as kind of a byproduct. And so, yes, clean eating will help you lose weight and get to a healthy weight for your body, but it's also going to help you feel better. It's going to improve your overall health. And one of, the best things I love about clean eating is that you start to see how food affects you. You know, I'm pretty aware now if I eat certain foods that it's going to affect my body in certain ways. And so it's helpful to know that. It's helpful to know how different foods affect us. And that's what clean eating is all about. It's about having that better relationship with food, improving our health, and then letting the weight come off as a byproduct. So those are the 5 myths that I often hear people have about clean eating. Let me know in the comments which ones of them you can relate to. And let me know, are there any other things that you believe about clean eating? I would love to know what they are and help clear up if it's a myth or maybe it's fact. So just again to reiterate, the reason why I think it's so important to clear up these myths is that clean eating is such a powerful way to just improve your health. You know, over and over again, I work with people who start eating clean and they have this huge list of just different symptoms that just start to disappear. You know, better energy, better sleep, better digestion, less heartburn, fewer headaches, less acne, fewer PMS symptoms. You know, it's just so many different things can be improved when you're fueling your body well. And so if this is getting you maybe a little closer to wanting to give clean eating a try, or just wanting more information about what it would look like to eat clean, just type "I'm interested in clean eating" or just "I'm interested" in the comments, or send me a private message, and I would be happy to just get a little bit more information about you, about what your goals are, so that we can figure out if this way of eating would be helpful for you. And I promise you, even if you feel a little hesitant or scared to try it, when you just commit to trying it even for a little bit, I would say 90%, and this is just a ballpark number, but probably 90% of the people I work with by the end of our time working together are really confident that this is a way of eating that they can continue long term. It's not as hard, not as scary, not as impossible as they once thought it might be. So let me know in the comments if you're interested in more information about clean eating. I will reach out to you personally and see, you know, if this would be helpful for you or not. So I will talk to you again next week. Thanks so much for watching to the end today. Let me know if you have any questions about clean eating. Put them in the comments and I'm happy to answer them and maybe do a video on that in the future. So have a great week and I will talk to you again soon.